Hi, Bria here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing a YA murder mystery novel called One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I've got it right here with me. This review will have spoilers, just putting that out there. I will be giving my overall thoughts, what I liked, what I didn't like, and if I'll recommend it, which, spoiler, I recommend it. So let's jump right in. I'm going to be starting out with what I did like because I want to start off on a positive note. So first of all, I really liked the pacing of the book. I think that the author strategically placed hints at the right places to keep the reader engaged. At least that's how I felt. And there was some unexpected, twists and turns throughout. I really hate myself for not seeing it, but I was completely thrown off. And I found out Cooper was gay. Like, I really did not expect that at all. I thought he was just cheating on his girlfriend with another girl. And then I was like, you know what? I can't believe I didn't see that coming. It's pretty obvious now. Like, if you go back and read and how he was responding to certain things. At first I thought like maybe he just didn't care that people found out that he might have been taking steroids, because I thought he was taking steroids at first for, to get into like, get a full Wright scholarship or whatever. Like, I thought that he was taking steroids and he just like didn't care because like his father was just forcing him to play baseball. But then turns out that he wasn't doing steroids and it was something else altogether, that he was like terrified if everybody found out that he was gay. And I was like, oh my God, makes so much sense now. I can't believe I did not see that coming, but kudos to the author because I really did not see that at all. And I was like, oh my God. So like I said, the pacing was really well done. I felt engaged the whole way through. I felt like there was never a dull moment, and every scene I felt had a purpose and just was there to move the plot forward. And I like when I'm not bored reading a book and I don't have to force myself to read it, because every time I went back to this book, I was excited and I wanted to know what happened next. Okay, but can we talk about the romance in this book? I loved it, okay? I am like a sucker for like the bad boy and the good girl trope. If it's, not too cliche and like thrown in your face, which I felt like in this book it was a subplot and it remained a subplot throughout the whole book. Like, it didn't take over the main plot. I think it served like, its purpose to engage the reader in like the romantic side, but just sprinkled in here and there. At least in my opinion. First of all, well, maybe it's because I just love romance in general in like YA books or just like books in general. So it wasn't really a pet peeve of mine that Nate and Bronwyn, those are the characters I'm talking about if you did not know who I was referring to. But I really liked when they had scenes together. So yeah, I really liked the romance subplot in this. It was really cute. But I'd have to say that my favorite character arc of all of them was probably Addie's. I think she had the most growth out of all 4 of the characters. Just like her self-discovery and like her journey to becoming independent and realizing that she doesn't need a man, that she's like good enough on her own. That was very satisfying at the end, like for me to read. And I really loved her relationship with her sister. What was her name? It was Addie and Ashton. Yeah, I really loved their sisterhood relationship. It was really nice and really supportive, and I'm glad, honestly, that Addie didn't get with TJ in the end. I know a lot of people were like, yeah, I really hoped that she got with TJ, and he's a really nice guy, I have no problem with him as a character. I just felt like that wasn't the purpose of her journey. I felt like it would just invalidate everything that she's gone through if like she's realized that she doesn't need a man and then 10 seconds later she's with a man. Nah, I'm sorry, like there's no point then. There's no point in what did she learn in all of this. So yeah, I really enjoyed her character arc. I was watching some videos and reading some reviews. A lot of people had a problem with the title, One of Us is Lying, because they expected that one of the four characters, Cooper, Addie, Bronwyn, or Nate, were lying about their involvement in the case. And when obviously we find out in the end that all of them are innocent, a lot of people were like, well then what's the point of the title? Like, you're just kind of baiting us. And I don't agree with that. It does reel you in, and technically it is true because like, technically all of them were lying. Like, this whole thing was built on deceit. Like, all of them had their secrets. And you can even say that one of us is lying can refer to just Simon lying, and just literally everyone's lying in this, okay? So you can't really like bag on the title because it's technically true. Technically they're all lying. So yeah. I mean, I thought it was intriguing, and I always thought in the back of my mind too, I was like, oh, okay, I'm waiting. I'm like, you know what? It might be Cooper. Wait, it might be Addie. Wait, no. It's probably Nate, you know? So it kept me on my toes, and I liked it. I liked the title, and I liked that anticipation and that burning of like wanting to know, like, is one of them really lying? Especially because you get so close to each and every one of the characters. The author did a great job with switching the POVs and to really get inside each character's mind and like what they're going through. And so you grow attached to them, and then you're always wondering, oh my God, I'm gonna like hate it if it's like this person that's the murderer, because you grow emotionally attached to them. I think she did it obviously on purpose to reel us in. Yeah, I'm not mad about that. I liked the title, and honestly, I didn't have a problem with it. I'm just pulling up my notes here. I read this book like 3 weeks ago. It's still kind of fresh in my mind, but definitely needed to refresh on some things. Okay, so moving on to what I didn't really like, or more like just it could have been executed a bit better. The scene where Janae reveals everything to Addie, I thought that was fine. It was very satisfying to hear all of that and piece everything together. But what I didn't like was what followed. That was supposed to be like the climax of the book, right? It's, you know, Jake going after Addie in the woods, wondering if she's gonna like make it out alive because this psycho's coming after her. Her psycho ex-boyfriend's like along with her in the woods, like, shit, okay, she's probably dead. And then obviously like Cooper comes to save the day, but that is such a cliche plot device, I think. And for that to be the climax after all of that strategic buildup that the author was doing, you know, like placing hints so well, and then that's the climax? Just a guy going after a girl because he's psycho, because he was upset with her because she cheated on him? Like, okay. I mean, we didn't even get that much character development from Jake either. There was foreshadowing, sure, like, but the payoff wasn't there. Oh my God, no, someone's calling. Oh. Okay, guess no one's calling. What was I saying? Right, Draco. Jake being a psycho, that's where I was at. I was like a brain fart. Jake being a psycho and not getting enough character development, and Cooper obviously coming in. Like, that was just so cliche and so predictable. And honestly, I wanted the climax to involve all four of them, like all four of the main characters somehow having to get out of a situation together, like having to work together to get out of it. It fell flat for me. Like, it was just so, After all of that, and you choose this scene to be the climax, it could have been so much more, and it could have been better executed. I feel like the author could have added someone else to also be involved that we would have not expected, like, at all. Like, I was actually thinking that Bronwyn's sister, Maeve, I'm gonna call her Maeve, I thought she could have been involved because she's a hacker, and I thought that she could have had some type of like motivation to want to be involved with this, and she did have some motivation. The author actually put that in there, that she was basically humiliated by Simon on his gossip site. There's the motivation right there, and maybe something having to do with Bronwyn always overshadowing her and she wants to get back at her. I have no idea. It would have been cool to see that type of betrayal, because Jake being involved makes sense. No one really feels betrayed there. But having like Maeve be involved and betray Bronwyn, that would have been like crazy. And then having all 4 of them there at the time, everything's being unraveled, just would have been great. But oh well, okay. Guess, just have to write some fan fiction about it or something. What is with the girls doing stupid shit in this book? Like, both of them doing like stupid shit and putting themselves in like dangerous situations. They both should have been dead by the end of this book. At the end, I was just like, what is going on? Like, use your head. Addie, first of all, okay, so cliche. Of course her phone's gonna go off when Jake gets there and she's trying to be all spying, on him and stuff. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so dumb. Like, I forgot to turn off my phone. And I'm like, okay, that's so overdone. But fine, okay, Addie isn't supposed to be the smartest or whatever. This whole video is basically just me shitting on Addie for like 20 minutes straight. Oh, and also, what is with her going into the woods? Like, Cooper was right there, and she was like, I'm just not gonna go in the direction of Cooper, the person that could possibly save me here. I'm just gonna go into the woods by myself and pray that I don't get freaking killed by my psycho ex. That seems like a great idea. It was just too much for me and too predictable. Fine, but I get it. She's not the smartest. Adrenaline was pumping. She might not have been using her head as much. I'll forgive it. But Bronwyn? What the hell? She's supposed to be the brains of this operation here. She's the goody two-shoes brainiac. She's out here inviting boys into her car who might or might not be involved in the murder case. And she's like, yeah, get into my car. I would not be inviting strangers into my freaking car. Me forgetting that Uber exists like the dumbass I am. Also, low-key cringe, her kissing Nate in the cafeteria in front of everybody when the whole point of them getting burner phones in the first place to talk to each other was that so they could not have a connection to one another in public. And then she just goes ahead and kisses him because he was hot. You exposed yourself, and the whole point was to just make sure you guys did not know each other in public. That did not make any sense to me. And not only that, but also, what happened to her dad? That plot line just like fell flat. Like, there was like that whole thing, I think in the first part, where Nate trying to like go to her house, and then her dad being all protective and being like, you can't see my daughter because you're like a criminal or whatever, right? So the dad is like pissed, right? And then nothing happens after that. I'm pretty sure people were, gossiping that Nate and Bronwyn are together now. Like, they kissed in the cafeteria, and I'm sure it got out to everybody else, and the parents found out too, because she had that discussion with her mom. I would have really loved her instead to have that discussion with her dad, or to have some type of argument, because it just did not make sense that her dad didn't have a say in any of this when he was so against her seeing him in the first place. There was no consequences to them kissing, like, at all, really. When the whole point was that they were not supposed to know each other. That got me a little bit, like, irked, as you can tell. Lastly, I feel the ending was just wrapped up a little bit too nicely after everything that had happened. Like, now the murder club, the 4 main characters are all friends now. Bronwyn and Nate are back together. Bronwyn's at Yale. Bronwyn at Yale? I honestly did not want her to go to Yale after all that. Especially because she cheated. I guess, we're all human and we make mistakes. She acknowledged her mistakes, but I think it would have been more realistic, and I think it would have been better for her as a character, because apparently she only wanted to go to Yale because her family for like generations, or her whole family's gone to Yale, and that's why she wanted to go. It would have been nice maybe for her to be like, you know what, like, I want to go to Harvard. Like, Harvard would have been perfect, she's like, I'm gonna go to Harvard. But at the same time, I guess if I'm talking about the fact that she did cheat, technically all of the Ivy Leagues would know that she cheated. So, you know what, screw it. Okay, she should have just gone to community college with Nate. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, honestly, fine, whatever. She got into Yale. Like, Good for her. But still wrapped up a little bit too nicely because they're all friends now. The Psycho X is being sentenced, Ashton. And the lawyer guy, Eli or something, was his name Eli? I really don't know. Curly hair guy, they get engaged. It just seems a little bit too nicely wrapped for my taste. I want a little bit of bittersweet in there. Too much fluff, you know, gives me a toothache after a while. I think in the end, the people I felt most bad for were probably Simon's parents. And they only had like that one little scene. They didn't even have any speaking lines, but like at the funeral, I think it was Nate's point of view where he saw Simon's parents and they were like crying, and I think that was the only time we saw them. Personally, I think at the end I would have loved maybe that they got a little segment on Mikhail Powers Investigates, the Dateline show in this book that features this case. You know, if Simon's parents would have gotten like a quick little segment. Out of everyone in this book, they probably suffered the most and we didn't get to see it. It was probably just so heartbreaking, not only to find out that your son like has passed now, but that he manipulated this whole thing. I felt so sorry for them in the end. My final thoughts are that honestly, I did really enjoy this book. I think it's an engaging and it's a fairly quick read. I forgot what someone said. Someone put it perfectly, but yeah, Breakfast Club murder mystery. But if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you've already read it. If you want me to do a review of the sequel, I'd be happy to read it and give my thoughts on that too. Just let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe and like and comment, and I will see you in the next one. Okay.